Officers started in some parts of the country as a peaceful protest against police brutality and was hijacked by hoodlums, which turned violent, leading to loss of lives, destruction of infrastructure, and much more. What lessons should be learned and what is the way forward? This and more on Panorama this afternoon. I am Abraham Usman Jibrila. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Muhammad Adamu, has explained that officers of the Nigerian Police Force acted professionally, exercised commendable restraint, and some paid the supreme price for peace during the protest. A statement by the force indicates that the IGP made observation following a report by Amnesty International dated 21st October 2020 that police personnel shot at peaceful protesters. He described the Amnesty International report as untrue, misleading, and contrary to all available empirical evidences. He noted that during the protest, officers of the force used legitimate means to ensure that protests were carried out in a peaceful manner, and in most cases, physically protected and walked side by side by the protesters, and reiterated that even when the protest turned violent in some parts of the country, the officers still maintained utmost restraint and did not use excessive force in managing the situation. Sokoto State Government requires over 20 billion naira to refix roads and bridges destroyed by flood 2020 flood disaster, as well as harness irrigation potentials to cushion the losses incurred by farmers in the state. Governor Amin Waziri Tambol dropped the hint while receiving a report from the Flood Management Committee at Government House, Sokoto. Alhaji Abdullahi reports.
Presenting the detailed report via PowerPoint, the 30-member committee chairman, Sir Inkilgori Dr. Muhammad Jakdi, said over 24,300 hectares of land were washed away by several flood disasters this year, affecting over 14,000 farming families across the state. The flood disasters, according to the committee, were mainly caused by climate change, overflow of water from dams, and human activities, among others. To avert reoccurrence of similar disasters, the committee called for desilting of the major dams by the federal government, clearance of waterways, reconstruction of embankments, and public enlightenment. For harnessing irrigation potentials for farmers to cushion losses incurred, the committee estimated that over 5 billion naira is required for the provision of improved seedlings, fertilizers, farming inputs, including agrochemicals, to all the farming population. Receiving the report, Governor Amin Waziri Tambol said the aim of setting up the committee was to make fortune out of misfortunes of flood disasters in the state.
We are looking for about 15 billion naira to reconstruct and bridges that have been washed away by the flood. Of course, this does not include the primary health centers, the clinics, the dispensaries, the primary schools, and a whole lot of other infrastructure affected.
Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar, has called on political and traditional leaders to come together in strengthening bond among Nigerians. Sultan made the call when he received 3 emirs from Kano State on tour to pay homage. The report.
The emirs on homage are the Emir of Karaye, Dr. Ibrahim Abubakar II, Emir of Ranu Muhammad Kabiru Inwa Autambao, and Emir of Gaya Ibrahim Abdul Qadir. Sultan Saad Abubakar expressed the Sultanate Council's support to the traditional institutions, urging them to imbibe the culture of patience and tolerance in discharging their duties. The Sultan also advised them to bring youth closer, help the needy, and reject any act capable of disrupting peace in their various domains. The emirs, through the Emir of Karaye, thanked the Sultan for the warm reception accorded them and promised to seek his guidance on issues. The Sultan also received the Vice-Chancellor and management of the Ahmadu Bello University Zaria on a courtesy call. The Sultan called on the federal government to collaborate with the Institute for Agricultural Research to to utilize the manpower and research works for agricultural development. He promised to reach out to the Northern Governors Forum in reviewing the actual goal of establishing the institution.
And the Northern Governors really come together to see how they can help ABU. If it's an annual contribution to the development of ABU, so many of them have state universities, yes, but they should not allow, and they must not allow ABU to go down.
The Vice Chancellor, Professor Kabir Bala, said the university has come up with many research projects in agriculture, environment, and other areas which, if adopted, will speed up national development.
The Emir of Gumi in Zamfara State, Justice Lawal Hassan, has flagged off the start of capital and empowerment training for 700 youths and women in his domain. The program, which is aimed at complementing government efforts in the provision of employment, will be implemented in collaboration with the National Directorate of Employment. Sadia Abubakar Tunau reports.
It is a well-known fact that government alone cannot provide employment to all the teeming unemployed. Hence the need for well-meaning individuals and private organizations to complement government's effort in that direction. This prompted the Emir of Gumi in Zamfara State, Justice Lawal Hassan, to initiate an empowerment program where 500 youth and women were trained on various vocational skills, while 200 others each received 10,000 naira to start a business that will enable them become self-employed. The beneficiaries, who were drawn from different parts of the Gumi Emirate, received training from officials of the National Directorate of Employment. The Emir of Gumi, Justice Lawal Hassan, who commended the National Directorate of Employment for training the beneficiaries free of charge, said he will continue to reduce the high rate of unemployment through various empowerment programs.
The money was given for the purpose of boosting small-scale businesses so that the larger economy of our state and eventually of our country will be greatly enhanced.
Zamfara State NDE Coordinator Abdullahi Yakubu applauded the Emir for the initiative while expressing readiness to collaborate with any well-meaning Nigerian committed to positively impacting on people's lives. In Gusau, Sadia Abubakar Tunau, NTA News.
House of Representatives says it will closely monitor the ongoing rehabilitation of the Gusau, Talata Mafara, Sokoto State border highways to ensure quality and timely execution of the project. Leader of the House delegation, Muhammad Ali Wudil, stated this during an oversight to the project site. Haliru Muhammad Umar reported that the legislators were conducted round by the officials of the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency.
The contract for the rehabilitation of some failed sections of Gusau-Sokoto Federal Highway, which was awarded in August 2020, could not commence due to excessive rainfall until 2 weeks ago. The project involves strengthening overlay of 1.3 kilometers at Kaudauri village in Maru local government area, patching of about 8,000 square meter potholes, and draining of 350 meters on the busy road for free flow of traffic and improved security of lives and property. Members of the House of Representatives, along with officials of the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, who were at the site on inspection mission, interacted with contractor handling the project while stressing the need for deployment of additional human and material resources to get the work completed on time.
This is a life-saving project because it involves security and it involves saving life. For now, we are not comfortable with what we see, but as we take them by their own word, that they are going to mobilize more.
Need adequate equipment to be able to deliver more on our direct labor works. We need adequate manpower in some of the states, and we need commensurate remuneration for FEMA staff.
On its parts, Zamfara State Office of the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency says it will effectively supervise the project to ensure its execution according to specification. In the meantime, FEMA says repair of other federal roads in deplorable condition is underway, just as the ongoing rehabilitation of parts of the Gusau-Sokoto road is built to be completed in 1 month's time. In Gusau, Halir Muhammad Umar, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari is saddened by the gruesome vehicle accident in Ogu local government area of Enugu State in which scores of people died, most of them school pupils. In a press statement by the Special Advisor on Media and Publicity to the President, Femi Adesina, President Buhari condoles with families and kin of the dead, praying that God will grant them succor and spare the country of such tragedy in future. He also commiserates with the Catholic Church of Ogu, which runs Presentation Nursery and Primary School that the pupils attended, and the Enugu State Government. President Buhari enjoins vehicle owners to ensure roadworthiness, as initial reports attributed the accident to brake failure by truck involved. News Panorama continues after the break.
The recent genuine concerns and agitations by Nigerians about the excessive use of force and, in some cases, extrajudicial killings and wrongful conduct by men of the Nigerian police force. The disbanding of SARS is only the first step in our commitment to extensive police reform in order to ensure that the primary duty of the police and other law enforcement agencies remains the protection of lives and livelihoods of our people. We will also ensure that all those responsible for misconduct or wrongful acts are brought to justice. We also deeply regret the loss of life of the young man in Oyo State during the recent demonstrations. I have directed that the circumstances of his death should be thoroughly investigated. Meanwhile, it is important to recognize that the vast majority of men and women of the police force are hardworking and diligent in performing their duties. The few bad eggs should not be allowed to tarnish the image and reputation of the force.
Residents of Gusau, Zamfara State Capital, have decried the recent hike in electricity tariff in the country. The electricity consumers who spoke to NTA News advocated for an urgent reversal of the increase in view of the current socio-economic hardship in the country. Sadia Abubakar Tuno reports.
Despite the suspension of electricity tariff increase by the federal government, which was part of the agreement reached between the government and labor union in averting the nationwide strike early scheduled to hold, the story did not change in Zamfara State, as this month some residents and other electricity users received a bill with skyrocketing increase in it. Speaking to NTA News on the development, some residents in Gusau Metropolis expressed dismay over the new price tariff.
I'm aiming 24,000 naira in a month and never give me 23,000 naira to pay. Where can I go and steal money to eat to come and pay them?
The thing is too much. It's too high. That is why I say, they're not even reading the meter. They're just giving us any amount at all.
They then appealed to the government and all the relevant agencies concerned to look into the matter so as to ease their hardship.
I'm appealing to government, let them know that every human being are not equal. Let them cut these things in a way that poor man can eat, big man can eat.
So government should do something about this. It's getting out of hand, honestly.
All efforts to speak with the authority concerned at the headquarters of Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company in Gusau was unsuccessful, as the area manager declined comment to NTA News. In Gusau, Sadia Abubakar Tuno, NTA News.
In Kebbi State, religious and opinion leaders have condemned in strong terms the violent protest that resulted into looting and destruction of public and private properties in some parts of the country. Muratonko Akili reports.
Nigeria has in recent days witnessed the spate of violent protest that resulted into destruction of property worth billions of naira and incidents that impacted negatively on the socio-economic well-being of the country. The protest, which started peaceful, was hijacked by hoodlums in some parts of the country, unleashing mayhem on both public and private institutions, which the stakeholders described as condemnable.
Therefore, I would like to call upon our youth, our blessed youth, to fear Allah in whatever they do and do what is right to avoid such kind of confrontations, kind of illegal confrontations.
Violence has never been part of our culture. So I want to say categorically that what culminated after the initial peaceful protest is condemnable.
The aim and objective was hijacked by some undesirable element who want to see this country disintegrated, who want to make this country ungovernable.
The religious leaders prayed for the country and its leaders and urged Nigerians to always put the country first and guard jealously its sanctity. In Birnin Kebbi, Nuratan Kokili, NTA News.
Motorists in Sokoto have decried the unintended consequences of the End SARS protest, which has brought back the long-awaited queues in Sokoto metropolis. Musa Abubakar reports that they are appealing to authorities to intervene.
Just when few queues are starting to become something of the past, here we go again. A deja vu of yesteryears has now surfaced, making life unbearable for motorists in Sokoto.
I spent 3 hours in the queue before I'm able to enter into the filling station.
It is now, this situation has been happening previously and it is intermittently happening. All our phrase is we are praying for those that used to hoard it and hide it for other people not to get it. They should fear Allah.
While some filling stations visited are dispensing the commodity, some are on the lock and key, limiting the supply of the commodity.
We had to stop our tankers from moving because of the threat of hoodlums coupled with the curfew imposed in Lagos last week. This has led to the shortages experienced now, but our tankers are on the way now that things are beginning to normalize.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has cautioned motorists against panic buying, saying it has enough fuel in stock. In Sokoto, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
And now to our discussion on the End SARS protest, lessons learned and the way forward. We have in the studio Dagana Yakubu Yusuf, Chief Lecturer and Director of Quality Assurance, Shehu Shagari College of Education, Sokoto. Sir, you are welcome.
Thank you for having me. Viewers, good day.
Sir, the End SARS started as a peaceful protest against police brutality in the country, and it was, however, hijacked by hoodlums who went violent, attacking people and public as well as private structure. What is your take on this?
All right, thank you. It's unfortunate that the End SARS protest, which was ambushed by the hoodlums, ended in such a very destructive manner. And it came at a time when Nigeria has been having multiple challenges. Challenges of insecurity, challenges of floods, challenges of COVID-19 pandemic, and challenges of industrial agitation, among others. All this have been exact a toll on the economy of the nation. However, now going directly to the question you raised, we all witness to the scale of the destruction and the time it took to inflict this heavy destruction, including human life that were lost. However, to talk of the lessons we learned.
Yes. We are going to what lessons have been learned so far.
The incidents actually has raised some fundamental questions. One having to do with our intelligence capacity and capability, particularly of Nigeria security architecture. That all this could happen without our intelligence provided this information to be ahead of them shows that something is wrong. And this is an area that I think we've learned a lesson that something has to be done. All our intelligence agents need synergy, and we also need to have what it takes in terms of facilities, in terms of training, in terms of commitment. And we need to work together to avoid this type of thing. Then, secondly, the issue of education is critical. The very moment in the 21st century we continue to nurture high level of illiteracy is going to be very dangerous. This is a signal. Yeah. Our education policy need to be reviewed. Yeah. We need to have educational policy that will meet the demand of 21st century. And while doing this, apart from looking into the curriculum to fashion out what the Nigerian need, what is our vision in the 21st century, then our curriculum should reflect that. But on top of this, and I'm going to emphasize this, is that our teacher education policy is a critical area that Nigerian policymakers have to look into. If at all we want to invest reasonably in the future development of this country, because it's already established that with information and communication technology and globalization that we're talking about, the economy, the development, all depends on knowledge. And if that being the case, then we cannot treat our teacher education with lip service. So we need to look at this. We need to make sure that the teacher we prepare for our educational sector should equally have what it takes now to deliver the service that may be required. Apart from this, we also need to look at the issue of our political system. Yeah. I said it in this a program sometime during the first October, that we need to look at some gaps we have and that is breeding danger. One, having to do with the local government. Yeah. As at now, we discovered, to say the least, our local government system is not functional. Yeah. And it is an arm as provided in the Constitution that is the closest to the people. Yeah. And because it's the closest to the people, we need to make it functional. If there's a problem like this, we can only nip it at the local government level.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
You've highlighted what government is expected to
do.
Okay, General, what is your advice to Nigerians?
Well, to Nigerians, I think we need patience. And we need to evolve our societal values. Yeah, value system is very important. Yeah, this is no longer the age we have to depend on government for everything. Yeah, we have to prepare to do what it takes, to show responsibility,
Thank you very
to
much.
show patriotism.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Dagana Yusuf from the Shehu Shagari College of Education, Sokoto. 58,249 COVID-19 infected persons in Nigeria have been treated and discharged. This is out of the 62,521 total confirmed cases in the country. The NCDC also confirmed 150 new cases in the country as at Thursday, 29th October 2020. A breakdown of the figure shows that Lagos State is leading with 89 cases, followed by Rivers with 19 new cases. Ogun has 11, Bayelsa 9, while Kaduna and Plateau have 8 cases each. Taraba has 3, Ogun 2, and Delta State recorded 1 new case. 1,141 deaths were, however, recorded in the country. And now to our sports update.
The Nigeria Volleyball Federation has backed newly elected President of Confederation of African Volleyball, CAVB, Hajij Bouchra, to deliver effective leadership that would ensure sustained growth and development of the sport on the continent and beyond.
Nigerian Volleyball Federation will contribute its own quota towards the development of volleyball in Africa and support our administration. It is our desire that we will grow from glory to glory, and it is our desire that Africa will conquer the world. And we pray that she will continue to lead the CAVB to a greater height.
In basketball, the Tigers of Nigeria will begin their campaign in the 2021 Afro-Basket qualifiers with a game against Algeria come November 27 in Rwanda, before facing the hosts on November 28 and finally Mali on November 30 in Group D. The top 3 teams will qualify for the competition slated for Kigali, Rwanda, August 24 to September 5, 2021. The Tigers are currently ranked 26th in the world and 1st in Africa. Meanwhile, in France, elite sports will continue despite a nationwide lockdown announced by President Emmanuel Macron, according to Sports Minister Roxana Maracignano. This comes as a welcome news for France's top soccer league, Ligue 1, as well as French rugby, with the national side set to host Ireland on Saturday in their Six Nations final, while Paris Masters Tennis Tournament is also due to begin on Monday. With sports update, Ayodeji Makinde, NTA News.
This afternoon from the Sokoto Network Center. Good afternoon.